Hey, I'm Veronica. You just tuned in to 30 frames a second. Today we have a really important show. This is Women's Takeover. So don't touch that dial. We'll be right back.
I heard that they sound check with our whole, but they ain't gonna never do that no more. They sound check with our whole routine, but they ain't gonna do that anymore because I want to be the first that you'll hear it from. Say amen, somebody. There's a song that simply says to us that when you're going through fiery trials and you're going through the storms of your life, he'll stand by you. Come on, look at somebody, and I want to make a huge choir tonight. Tell somebody it's all right. Yeah. Now, if they don't want to hear it, then turn around and tell them, say, it's all right. And if they didn't want to hear it, turn around and tell them, it's going to be all right. I know it doesn't look good now. Look like the devil been walking up one side of you and down the other, but it's going to be all right. Oh, yeah. And David, that's all I simply want to say tonight. It's all right. I want everybody to join in. Sing.
It's all right. It's okay. Don't you let your troubles get in your way. Just believe and have faith. Know that He is with you every day.
Oh, sometimes it's hard to say you're doing okay when you're trying hard. The pain on your face, times are getting harder. You're breathing, you break. Just keep hoping, believing. Oh Lord.
Don't you let your troubles get in your way.
Well,
Just believe
only believe
and have faith.
and have
Know
faith.
that He is with you every day.
Sing down.
There are times when you can't seem to find your way. Skies are dark and you can't tell let your troubles get in your way. Just leave me and have faith. Know that He is with you every day.
Okay, so we are back here, Women's Takeover on 30 Frames a Second. I'm joined with my co-host, Nari. But before we go, Nari, say hello. I apologize to you. Nat will cut it back in. But hey, Nari, say hello to everyone.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Excited to be back for Takeover Tuesday and excited to hear about the Renal Kidney Life Foundation.
The other women are out. They're on assignment. But today we have a really important subject to talk about. I have two important people who are dear friends of mine who are really making a difference in our community, but also in the lives of people, of us, talking to, speaking to, elevating African American people or Black people, or however you want to call it, because I tell you, we got so many names, I don't know, us, you and I, but this is about us. So today we are here to talk about organ donation. In particular, specifically, kidney donation. My guest today is Diane and Lance Hopkins, who have started the Renal Life Foundation, Renal Kidney Life Foundation, and they're going to discuss what that is all about and what it is that they're actually doing in our community. So thank you. So this organization was started by a husband and wife team, Diane and Lance. Let's start. Talk about that. Talk about the foundation. How did you start? Why did you start?
Well, I'm Diane, and this is Lance. Lance needed a second kidney transplant. We started the foundation in 2018. I decided to give Lance a kidney, but prior to that, Lance had his first kidney transplant in 9/11, exactly the day when 9/11 went down. His brother gave him his first kidney transplant. At that time, he thought his kidney was going to be great, but some kind of way he caught
BK virus.
a BK virus and attacked his kidney that he had from his brother, and that caused him to go back on dialysis. And he's been fighting it ever since from that time. But we take it all the way back. Lance and I knew Lance since I was a little girl. Really? I have not seen Lance until 2001. So the last time I seen him, I had to be about 10, 11 years old. I never ran back into him until 2001. And then life just changed from that point on. I kept on telling Lance, let me be a kidney transplant, let me be a donor, let me just go see if I'm tested. He kept on saying, oh no, that's for your daughter, Cassie. No, it's fine. He would just deal with, being on dialysis. But I'm just gonna explain to everybody, when you're on dialysis, your life is structured for that. Every other day, you're on that. So when he's on dialysis on Monday, by the time he comes home, he starts breaking down, and then on Tuesday, he's just not there with himself, and then by the time he comes back up, he has to go back on dialysis the next day. So his life is just trapped, and it's like you don't have a life when you're on dialysis. I'm just being honest. And then that's when I decided to be tested again, and then I came back 100%. I was a match. They never seen nothing like that. And then from that, we just started living life from that point on. I gave him my kidney. It's been 11 years last month. We've been married 10 years, 9 years. I'm sorry, 9 years. It was his wedding, it wasn't mine. I was just there. We've been married 9 years. And it's just been a journey. I mean, we can start from point 1 to point 10, but it's a long journey that we have been on. So we started the Renal Kidney Foundation back in 2018. We had a black tie affair. And what we started doing, since Lance is an artist, he started drawing a lot of people that have been waiting for kidney transplants. And a lot of them are stars. You have behind us, you have Natalie Cole, who got, I believe she didn't get a kidney transplant, but she passed away. From kidney disease. From kidney disease.
Renal failure. That's another word for kidney.
Right.
That's like the science or the biology termination for kidney is renal.
So we started doing portraits. We have so many artists. Lance can tell you the other artists that he did painted.
We did it.
But before you do that, Lance, let's go back a bit because this story is so interesting. Like, and it has so many levels and so many dynamics. And like you said, it's been a challenge. It has a big challenge, but it also has a big decision. To do this. And I think in our community, a lot of times we are reluctant to do that. We're afraid to do that. That's right there. So talk about that. Like the love had to be overwhelming.
You know what? I'm going to be as honest with you, Brian. I didn't, the way I look at it, if I see someone hurting, and if I have the needs or the will to do something for that person, I'm going to do it. I know when Lance came in my life again, since I haven't seen him so many years ago.
How many years? Like about 20, 30?
Let me just take it back. Okay. It was, like I said, since I was 10 or 11. Now, I'm the baby out of my family. I had a brother, and then I had an older brother, older sister, and another brother. Now, when we grew up around the same neighborhood, but when my dad and mom separated, I decided to go with my dad. So I went to the suburbs, and then my brothers and my sister and them, they was older, they stayed with my mother. So my older sister was dating his oldest brother. So it was just, how life intertwines, it was
families are connected.
Exactly. You would never know that when I was little girl, they called me grandma, that I was going to give, this man my kidney from that many years ago.
Yeah.
And then when I seen him, something just told me to say, stop. God just told me, just stop him. Because I seen him a couple of months prior. I'm going to be honest with you. I tell the story to everybody. When I seen him, that's when he was on dialysis, okay? I was driving. I got caught at the light, and I was with my daughter in the car, and I said, oh, Lord, that looked like Lance. Oh, he looked terrible. But I didn't know he was on dialysis because, when you're on that machine, it drains you and it changes your color of your skin. And he was real dark. And I said, oh, Lord, he looked terrible. And then he just walked past me and never know. By the next year, I was going to run into him again after he got the transplant, after he looked more healthier. But at that time, that first kidney transplant was, it was fighting. It was, it was failing. Yeah. And then that's when we got together, and we've been together ever since. And he kept on fighting. Like I said, when you're on dialysis, your body is totally shot. Yeah. You can't do anything. You're just basically going to Presbyterian Hospital and back. That's your life. That's it. And I said, how are we going to have a life? How are we going to enjoy life? How are we going to be able to step out? How are we going to fly places when you can't go anywhere besides here? And then that's when I kept on asking him, and I was in our house in Dallas. He was in Dallas, and Lance was in the city, because once again, Presbyterian is his hospital. And I said, Lance, listen, let me get tested, because this ain't gonna work. You there, I'm here, And then he finally reached out to Dr. Ratner, and they called me. They set up an appointment for me to get tested in Presbyterian in Dallas. And I remember I was walking through the Galleria, and then she called me back, and she said, hi, Diane. She was like, the test results came back, and you are 100% a match.
That is amazing.
And then I said to her, okay. And then she just paused. And I said, hello, are you still here?
Yeah.
And she said, yes. But remember, like I told you, you have two separate teams. You got the donor team, and you got the recipient team. So I said, hello. And she said, yes. I said, okay, what we do from this point? And she said, it's up to you. And I said, up to me. This is what I want to do. I want to give him my kidney. And then everything just went into motion. And let me just stop there. Let me just take it back. A week prior, before when I knew I was going to give him the kidney, I went to get my hair done in Dallas. And I had my daughter with me. So I'm saying it was the end of the school year. I said, do I leave now? Do I stop her? The middle, the end of the school years, do I drag her to New York? when I was in the beauty parlor, I seen these, I'm gonna be honest with you, these pretty little girls come in. They was all blue-eyed, blind. They was just like look stacked up in one another. And I said to myself, oh Lord, them little girls look so cute. Yeah. But not knowing God was bringing me to these same people in less than a week. So when Cassie came home, I told Cassie, I said, well, Cassie, it came back that I'm 100% matched. She's like, okay, mommy, what you gonna do? I said, well, Cassie, you have to go to school. So she said, well, I did speak to one of my schoolmates, and she said her mom said it'd be okay for me, to stay there for the next 3 weeks until she go to cheerleading camp. So she said, make a long story short, she said, come by her mom's house, over the next day. And I think it was American Idol was on or something like that. So when I knocked on the door, hold your belief. Now, when the door opened up, it was them cute little blonde little girls.
Really?
Wow. Those cute blonde little girls, when that lady opened that door, I'm looking at her, I'm like, I said, what is going on here? Yeah. And I walked in and they was all sitting there, and she had like 6 of them, and they was like, blah, blah, blah. And I said, God sent this to me.
Right.
Everything just intertwined, And I said, Lord, God, you sent this to me because you ain't gonna send me somebody that's gonna do harm on my child. This is some good people here,
Yeah.
And this lady, she opened her house to Cassie. I dropped Cassie off that Friday, and I went to New York and I gave Lance the kitten. But I'm just saying, you just don't know what God have in store for you. And you have to look at people, just don't know what your road is.
That's right.
You just don't know. And prior to that, I had asked God, I said, God, before I gave Lance the kidney, I said, God, I know I never listen to you sometimes, but I'm going to listen to you. If you tell me to go right and I want to go left, I'm going to go right. I said, you have my life in your hands. You tell me what to do. And everything that he was telling me to do led up to me giving Lance the kidney. I can go through the story. It's like, it's just
But you have so many things like that, because look, he crossed your path and you were in the car and you saw him.
Yes.
But the other part is the donation aspect, because the match, a lot of times it has to come from a family donor, and yet you're 100%.
Yes.
Talk about that. That right there is like.
Well, before I just want to say that, like, Diane, that's a true testament of your character, to take on, or even just to be willing to go into a relationship with someone who was battling with any type of ailment, right? So that to me,
ultimate love,
volumes to your character, like the type of person that you are. Like, so when you say that, if you see somebody in need or in pain, you would do what it takes to help that person. Mm-hmm. And you didn't even have to say that, because it's just, that's you. That's exactly who you are. And just by way of being with Lance, and helping him and battling entering into this battle with him, and then being able to help him through it, speaks volumes for the type of person that you are. And my hat's off to you. I really, love hearing stories like that.
The ultimate sacrifice, the ultimate and true love. But did you like him when you were young? Like, was that?
They used to call me grandma.
There goes Lance. I knew him when he was little. That was Lance. Whoa.
Now they used to call me grandma, because I used to just like to just be around older people and have tea with them. And I used to call our kids, I used to say, I ain't never have no little gremlins. I ain't never had no little wet racks. And I used to say that, and you never know what your life, like I said earlier, what your life tends to be in the next 20 years, next 40 years. You never can say never. That's right. You just don't know. But I know that day when I seen him, and it was funny, because I really wasn't going to go outside that day.
Wow. My
girlfriend was moving into the next building. It was a hot summer day. I was out here in Edgewater, and she said, well, I'm waiting for the electricity company to come put the lights on. And I said, okay, I'm gonna come across. I said, Cassie, let's come on. And we were sitting outside the front of the building, and he just happened to walk past. And I said, ain't that Estelle? And she said, yeah. And I said, hey, I said, give me your number. And that's exactly how I said it. And I tell them to this day, I said, Lord, child, I don't know what I was on, but you had them little tight jeans on, baby, with them little polo. What's that, baby? Oh, Lord, child.
Oh, this was very intentional.
But guess what? You were walking on faith. You said, God, direct me. And he direct you right there.
Yes. He actually did. And you know, years prior to this, like I said, our story is so deep. Mm-hmm. Years prior to this, before my mother passed, I went to a old lady, and she told me, just make your mother as comfortable as possible. I didn't know my mother was passed away of cancer. That's all she said. Make your mother as comfortable as possible. And then she said, you're gonna be with this man, and he's a good match to you. She said your brother knew him, and your mother knew him. Your mother knows him, and your family, your other brother and your sister know him. And I said to myself, I was hoping that she was saying somebody else. And I said, well, I know she ain't talking about this person because they don't know. They don't know these people. So, and I never knew was talking about him, because she said, you're going to be with this man that your family know and respect.
Right.
And my mother passed. My mother been gone over 15 years now, over 15, 17, 18 years now. Longer than that. It's been so long. Over 20 years. Yeah. So I never knew who she was talking about. When I left out there, I said, I don't know who this woman talking about.
Yeah.
I just didn't know. But all along,
it was him. And she said the word match.
Yes.
You were a good match.
Yes.
You were that.
And you know, and this is where we at right now in our journey. You know, it's I just want everybody to know when you want to donate, you'll know when it's time for you to donate. No one should have to force you. If you want to do it in your heart and it's really in your heart, you can do it. Because I wasn't scared. I really wasn't. I just said, okay, so when are we going to go in?
Right.
You know, and they was just looking at me, these doctors, like, she really is not scared, you know? And I wasn't, because I wasn't looking at it like, oh my God, they cut me over, they taking my organs out. I was looking at it and I'm helping.
Right.
Someone, because at that time he was just my boyfriend. Then he wasn't my husband, you know.
But Lance, what about you? The fact that you told her no, you had this loving woman saying, and to make this ultimate sacrifice, and you said no. Somebody else would have said, you know what, I'm, you know, do it, baby. Yeah.
So I mean, it's like me. I'm not a selfish person. I'm a caring and giving person as well. So I'm thinking about her daughter, and you know, maybe she might need an organ one day. I don't know. This is hypothetically speaking, you know. And I'm just like, I don't really want anything to happen to her. So she kept asking me. She asked me about 10 times, and that one time I said, all right. She said, well, just let me get tested. If it don't match it, you ain't even got to think about it no more. I said, all right. Get ahead and get tested. She was a match, so I couldn't argue with her no more. It was like
you could go.
Yeah, it was like, you know, sink or swim. What are you gonna do? So, you know, I jumped on a raft and went downstream with her.
Wow.
Go, you know, I mean, you know, and this is any organ transplant or any person donating an organ is a serious thing. And it's something you really have to take in consideration. It's not something you could just do and then turn back and say, I want my organ back. It doesn't work like that. It's not a movie. It ain't like you could die in this scene and the next scene you could come back to life.
Can you imagine if that couple has an argument? Give me back my organ. Yeah.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Give me back my organ. Yeah,
you know, I gave you life. Woo. You know, but then here you are. And
well, do you think that a huge part of, you know, helping to solve this issue with kidney disease or organ donors, that in our community that we're not willing or that giving of ourselves in that way?
Yeah, I definitely, my opinion, I definitely think a lot of African American people are scared to do that. And that's why so many of us are on dialysis.
Yeah.
I'm just being honest, when they can just, go and get tested. Like I said, once I got tested and, they put you through the strain list, you got the blood work, they just don't throw you in the operating room, It took 2 weeks before they had to get everything situated.
Yeah, they work you up.
So they work you up. And then if a person the person that's trying to donate, do decide they don't want to, they can say they just don't want to.
Wow.
Because you get a lot of family members that, feel like they pressure.
Mm-hmm.
But you get some of them that's not. I know when I gave Lance the kidney, afterwards, he was in the hospital. He was in one room, I was in the other room. It was so many people. All the nurses was telling patients that this young lady gave this man a kidney and they're not even family. And they was coming in the room saying, oh, you're the one who gave, they was like, God bless you. And I was saying to myself, it's not a big thing to me, why should it be? Somebody, but it is, like you said, a lot of people would not want to step up and do that, and that's why it's so many people that's on dialysis. I know when I'm by our Instagram, I see people on there posting, can you please give me a donor? Can you please give me a kidney? Can you please? It's people out here literally begging for kidneys, begging. And I know how it feels to be the person seeing somebody on dialysis. Yeah. Because I have been in the dialysis room years ago when I was working for the hospital. And time you get up that elevator, you can smell the blood. You can literally smell, but if you never smell blood, you can smell it. And then when I push them inside the room, it's pitch black in there, and that's what you hear. Ding, ding. And you see them needles is about this big.
But talk about that. What is that, the dialysis process like? Because they said
dialysis, the process of dialysis is your blood being filtered, not from your kidney, but by a machine. Mm-hmm. But the thing about the machine, it doesn't know the difference between the good things that's inside your body that you eat or the bad things. So it just basically takes out everything that's impurity and that's good for you. So you're getting an effect where the bad things are coming out and the good things. So your body is not really adjusting. But by the time your body do get to adjust, you have to go back on the machine. So it's like a machine that's acting as if your kidney, but it's not really working 100%. Because after a while, a few years, a dialysis machine, if you're on there for a long time, it enlarges your heart. Mm-hmm. You start having heart complications. Mm-hmm. And what it is, it's like they take your artery and they create a fistula. That's if you have good arteries. Mm-hmm. They take 2 needles and they insert one side of the artery and one on the other side. One extracts the blood from you and one pushes it back. And it depends on how much you weigh and your height and things like that, whether you're going to be on the machine for 3 to 4 hours or 5 hours. Mm-hmm. So normally the most they try to keep you on the machine is like most 4.5 to 5 hours, because after that it's going to cost more money. So depending on your insurance, they will run you high. So if you can't really afford to be on a machine for a long time, they'll run you high. Running you high is like making the time move faster. So if you actually supposed to be on a machine for like 5 hours, but your insurance only covering for 4 hours, the time that it'll take for the next hour will have to be ran to speed up the process. Oh, so it's more stress on the body.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, dialysis is a lot of stress. And then you have scars. Like I have scars on my arm from being on a machine. Right. So I had like several operations on my arm just for to create an access point to use the needles to put you on a machine.
Right. And it's just a horrible. It's like I said, it's just a horrible situation. That's why I kept on telling, let me get tested. Yeah. Because your life is just dialysis, and it's hard. It's horrible when you see kids on it too, because they got to go through the same thing.
Right, and then after they get the transplant, dialysis basically stops. Right.
Yes, it stops.
It depends if the kidney works.
Yeah, sometimes if the kidney don't take right away, you still might have to do dialysis for about a week, and then sometimes the kidney will kick in. Sometimes you might get a transplant, it might not work at all.
Not work. And that was the patient that was in the other bed with me when I gave Lance the kidney. She got a cadaver kidney.
That's
and
like
it didn't take time. She came out, she was in pain.
Right.
So it's just a chance. Everything. That's why in the Black community, they need to be aware. I know everybody's scared to take the COVID shot. They're scared to do this, but you have to take it. You have to have a chance because you just don't know.
Right.
You just don't know. You really just.
And what about the health risk? Go ahead, Nari.
Is there a database that people or somewhere where people can go to volunteer to donor? I know a couple years ago, and I think I was up in like one of the Harlem Street festivals. There was someone signing people up for a kidney donor, and I think they took our blood, and then we received a letter in the mail saying whether like you're
a match or not. Yes, it's the Donor Kidney Foundation. That's the Donor Kidney Foundation, and you can go on any site, and then you just put your zip code in, and then that's when they're direct you to the hospital, which hospital facility you can go to, because it's people on the waiting list now. It's horrible. I'm just being honest. I feel so bad every time I'm on Instagram. I really want to just reach back out to him, say, I give you my other kidney. I really would. Because it's hard. It really is. I seen it when he's sick. I seen him when he's in his bad part. I seen it all, and people just don't understand. This is a big deal. This is not.
When you put your name, well, when you said I'm going to donate my kidney, like say for instance, if you weren't a match for him, will they still keep you in that database and say, well, hello, we still need you for someone else?
Well, they have a program where they cross match. So if she was a donated kidney and somebody that needed a kidney was a match for her, and the person that was donating to that person wasn't a match, but was a match for me, they'll cross match. So that person, so they have programs for that. And that's.
And once again, it's the Kidney Donor Foundation. You can just go on that website and you can pull up all the information that everyone needs. But once again, African Americans, they're scared to go to the hospital. They're scared to see what's really wrong with them. They think, oh, it can go away. Like my mother thought it can go away when she had cancer. She didn't tell nobody until it got to the point she was stage 4, and it was too late.
But in our community also, I mean, talk about the risk, our health issues, because we know kidney failure is related to high blood pressure, diabetes.
Yeah, that's mine.
And so this is something that if we take care of, the type 2 diabetes can be reversed.
Preventative.
So talk about that, the fact that it begins with our health first. And I saw on your website you had some really harrowing statistics, like we are fighting a losing battle against ourselves.
Yes. So there's a lot of things you could do to prevent your kidney from failing. My kidney failed from hypertension, and I didn't really realize it because I went to the hospital and did a physical for college, and the doctor said, well, you have high blood pressure, you need to get it checked out. But he didn't tell me the significance of it, so I didn't take it serious. And it's things you could do to prevent it, like if you drink cranberry juice, that helps filter the kidney. If you eat watermelon, and then you can save the watermelon seeds and boil them and drink them later, drink the juice later. And if you eat like green vegetables, like every morning I juice. I take kale and spinach, and I actually juice. So if you ate more green vegetables, but it has to be in the purest form it could be. It can't be boiled to the point where all the vitamins and minerals are out. So what I do, I just rinse it off and I just put it into a juicer or blender, and I just blend it down to like liquid form, and I just drink the green vegetables. Those are some of the things you could do to prevent a lot of sicknesses that's in our community, a lot of illnesses. And when I was on dialysis the second time, the doctor had actually informed me and said the way you could save this next kidney and preserve it is to do this, this, and this. And those are the things I just mentioned. you know, like juicing. That's real. That's like the purest form that you're going to get the juice straight from the leaf form to a liquid form instead of buying it and boiling it and different things like that. So it's still in a form where you could get the purest vitamins and minerals out of it. You might have to add a little bit of water, a little bit of ice. I don't have diabetes, so I add honey to give it flavor. And then I add ginger and things like that. And then I have a few friends that has juice bars that give me information to help me learn about it. And then you go reach out to dietitians. They have them at the hospital. You could just request one just to get, you know, a quick consultation on some of the things you could do if you feel you have something wrong. Just like if you have a lot of inflammation in the chest for whatever reason, you could take ginger and just chew on ginger and then help clear it up. There's a lot of different things you could do. It is home remedies you could take. It ain't like you have to take medication. You know, I was with my doctor. I went to see him the other day. He's taking me off. He's lowering my blood pressure medication because when he did the blood test, they seen things where my blood pressure is stabilized.
Yeah.
Just from these things that I'm doing now.
I think once again, it comes right back to our community. They have to ask questions. That's it. Ask. Like he said, a lot of them just don't know that if you got insurance, what insurance you can speak to a dietitian. You can request that. They can tell you how to eat healthy, how to do this. But once again, it's up to us to want to have to speak up and say something. That's the bottom line. Have to speak up. No one's not going to read your mind to say, hey, this is what this person wants. You have to ask questions, you know, and don't be in your own world and say, well, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this because this is what they did to us 67 years ago. We're in a whole nother, you know, we're in 2021. So let's just everybody try to just say, put the past in the past and let's start from now so we can go forward. And this is what it is now. It seems like we're going back with this COVID because a lot of people are scared. Forget about the past. Let's go forward. Me and Lance took it. There's nothing wrong with us. Our creatinine level is perfect. You know, we took the Pfizer and we're just fine. So everybody have to do that so we can come back to somewhat normal in the next 2 or 3 years. That's how long it's really going to take. I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm just being honest.
And with that, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Lance.
Another thing, you have to listen to your body. So if you have a headache or a toothache or a stomach ache, don't get all machismo and be like, well, I can handle this. I'm going to tough it out. Because you could wake up the next day and be dead.
Yeah.
You know,
because it's just a warning sign letting you know something is up, something else is wrong with your body. You just have to, once again, be aware. Just be aware. And I think that's what everybody needs to do. Just be aware and just ask the questions. Don't be scared. Don't think that sit in the corner is going to be answered. No, you have to speak up and speak up loud. And that's what it's, you know, that's exactly what it's about. And this is why we started our Kidney Foundation, so we can speak up and let people know what's going on. But since when COVID hit, that, you know, pushed everything back. You know, everything's pushed back. We can't have the events that we wanted to have. We can't have the testing of the kidneys and stuff like. We can't have that because of COVID. So, you know, a lot of stuff is pushed back. But now we got the Zoom. We able to reach out to a lot of people doing the from the Instagram, for you know, Facebook and all that, but in a positive way.
Exactly.
A positive way, not a negative way. And then that's the number one thing that we need to do.
Yeah. And it's so funny you said that because it seems like COVID allowed us to kind of like, does it transcend time or beats time? Like you can be in China today and be in New York 20 minutes later. Thank you to the whole COVID pandemic. It taught us another way to reach out to people and have, or, you know, various different meetings. But here's something that's kind of interesting, and this is for you, Lance. When I look at your artwork, it is so detailed. It's actually, you can see the person's spirit. Like you have the line, like you even gave me one with Muhammad Ali. So one the smile. Here it is, Natalie Cole. That was her hair. You're tapping into the essence of these people, the wrinkles on their forehead. How is that? How did that transcend to your own personal experience and what you went through, what you felt, because you are allowing us to feel these people. You talk about that, because it's very intense, your work.
So, well, when I used to do art when I was younger, my mother said to me that I'm a poor artist. So I thought she was saying that my work was poor. So I did a lot of art. I constantly studied art, painted. And then when I felt like my work was on a level where it wasn't poor work, I said, well, Mom, what you think about my work now? And she said, oh, your work is great, but you're still a poor artist. So she was actually saying that I wasn't making money from my work.
Right.
So by the time I realized that, I already done put so many years into developing my work to the point where I just knew what to look for. It was like, it would just come to you. Like you see something, you'll be painting something, and you always want to go to the next level. So you want that moment where you sit back and you just get chills and you be like, I can't believe I did this. Or you just always, I'm just always trying to elevate myself and my talent. So I had like friends that was artists like Stan 153. So when I used to do art, I used to do a lot of cartoon art. And he was telling me, well, you know, if you really want to learn how to do this type of work, you need to go and study Boris' work, because Boris do realistic art. So Boris, he's a famous artist, and I study his work in the 80s. And actually, my name Estos came from your husband, Mike. We was doing graffiti, and he said, and I said, hey, I need to come up with a name. And his name was Slew 149.
Really?
And I was like, I need something with an S and an E, and you know, he was like, oh, come on, let's look at the Spanish dictionary. He just changed the pages. He was like, look, this got an E, this got an S, this T-O, it's Estos. Why don't you write that? So this is like 1980, I think 4 or 5 or something. And then I started doing graffiti. And then with graffiti, you start doing a lot of cartoon characters. So then when my friend Stan told me to watch Boris, and then I started learning how to do realistic art. But you start learning different details where you can say, hey, maybe I need to focus more on an eyeball. And then you be working on an eyeball for like 3 to 4 months. And then you start noticing different things and different characteristics about the eye. Like if you look in her eyes actually look like they glowing.
Yes.
So it's like certain things you start to pick up on. And then Stan was like, hey, well, you need to learn how to paint texture. So then I was like, I bet I want to learn how to paint chrome. And he was like, okay, so look up this artist, Soyarama. And Soyarama is a famous artist, and he's a Japanese artist. And he paints a lot of chrome. And then I was like, everything I wanted to learn, Stan would point me in the direction, like, look up Franzetta, look up this artist, and I would just go down to the village and get the book and buy it from Forbidden Planet. And I just study the artwork and study it and study and study, and then look at realistic things. And then I end up doing some classes at Parsons. I went to Parsons School of Design downtown on 12th Street. And then I just started picking up on doing a lot of art. And I was just fortunate to have a grandfather that had a community center. So when I wanted to paint, I had a large area just to do whatever I want. And he always provided me like different things. Like he say, well, if you do this in school, I'll buy you an airbrush. If you do this, I'll buy you that. And, you know, I was just fortunate to have him in my life as well. So my grandfather pushed me. And that's how.
In this, you're, you know, what gave you the concept to bring the two together, painting the different celebrities, if you will, and just people in general.
Okay. All right. So
foundation, and how does that
okay
work
together? Mm-hmm. So when we had did the transplant, we was in the hospital, and they was like, oh, Superman is in the building. And it was Alonzo Mourning. He was getting a transplant.
That's right.
So I was telling Diane, I was like, we need to do a foundation and bring awareness that people on every level has complications. People with millions of dollars have the same problems as somebody without any type of money. Mm-hmm. So people look up to celebrities, and if they see that it's not only average people or normal people having this problem, they would be able to relate to somebody that you look up to that's a celebrity. You know, so you have Selena Gomez, you have Nick Cannon, you have so many people that's on TV that's going through these issues, and it's not like
I wasn't aware of that.
Tracy Morgan.
Tracy Morgan as well.
Yeah, and the other guy that just passed away used to work for WBLS for so many years.
The DJ.
He was a DJ.
Yeah, he passed away.
He just passed away. And then you have Tina Turner. She had a kidney transplant. But some of these people have so much money that you wouldn't be aware of it unless they made it public.
Yeah.
Like Tina Turner, a lot of people didn't even realize that she went through this, you know? And it's like, by letting people be aware of this through celebrities is like a more heightened sense of communication.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I could relate to this person because he's going through something that I went through, where you couldn't relate to them because they have money, they on TV every day. But if you could say, oh, he's in the same hospital as me, and I just had a transplant, and he's getting a transplant, and it ain't like he's in some hospital where it floats in the sky and they have their own oxygen.
So is that when it hit you that kidney disease can transplant you know, different genres of life or different crosses, when you saw Alonzo Mourning in the same hospital with you?
Wow. So that made me say, this is the calling. Celebrities, kidney awareness, my art, my talent, infusing that together and bringing it to the public so they could reciprocate what's going on, and they could connect people that's going through it. So it was like a channel for everybody to home into.
Yeah, right.
Lance, let me ask you: have you had any celebrities sit for a portrait, or do you mainly work off of photos that you have, and then you create the portrait, or have you had anybody sit in?
No, I just work from pictures that I have. But that would be real interesting.
George Lopez reached out to us when he saw it, because he had a kidney transplant from his wife. That was many years ago. Wow. So he reached out to us and he said, "That's great work what y'all doing. Keep up the good work," and stuff like that. But he has his own foundation that he's aware of this with his kidney transplant foundation as well. So we have had people reach out to us, say, "Great job, what you're doing." But like I said, right before, once COVID hit, everything shut down. He was planning on having another event. It was going to be lunch on a rooftop here in Edgewater. And then that happened. That had to be pushed back. And then I said, maybe we can do something this summer. And then this come with the second, virus now. That's pushed back. So it was a lot. So we're trying to see how we can bring it to awareness. Just with the Zoom. Maybe we can have something with Zoom, something like that, but it's like you want to be hands-on with people so you can sit down and you can have a conversation with people and explain, the differences of why a person gets on a transplant and why, parents or family members don't donate. So this is the awareness that we just want to bring to everyone, once we come back a little bit normal, or we have to do it soon.
And there's a lot of things that people don't realize, like, when you if your kidney is 25%, you have 25% failure of your kidney, you could actually get on the donors list. Like, you could get on the list to receive a kidney from a donor. And then it's two different lists. A lot of people don't realize you have a high risk list and you have a regular list. So the high risk list is like people that was like intravenous drug users, or somebody that was bisexual, or, just somebody that might have had leukemia, or just some type of other illness. but they might pass away, and then they probably was checked that they wanted to be a donor. So the hospital actually call you and say, well, this person passed away, but it's up to you to say yes or no.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of different things that
people just don't know.
People don't know.
They just feel like they have to be stuck on dialysis, you know, for the rest of their life when they really don't have to be.
You know, I was thinking when you said other ways, because like we were saying about how COVID has put everybody online. Everyone is on Zoom. So like around the corner where I live, they have this paint and sip or whatever it's called. All of a sudden I just envision you doing like a paint and sip online here in the, you know, and everyone is painting.
Oh yeah, we could do that.
Real detailed, Land. Yeah, because I remember at the film festival, you had the young people painting with you and putting that Muhammad Ali, and I was like, this is amazing. Like you just brought them all together, and I don't even know if any of them had the same skill as you, but you gave them the tools to do it. And I cherish that forever. Just the fact, you know, the promenade for me is that picture of y'all. Like I see you doing that, and that may be a way, you know, to have this fundraiser. Everybody come on in and and then draw this way there, because you're an excellent teacher.
Yes. I'm teaching right now for I'm doing stuff with the Boys and Girls Club, Children's Aid Society, New York City Board of Education. So you know, I'm doing a lot of stuff. In the last prior to COVID, they was flying me around the country for different conventions, art conventions, through the Boys and Girls Club. We worked in a project called YAI, Youth Arts Initiative. That's the name of the program. We've been doing that project for like 5 years. Wow. And it was a study that teaches that art on different levels, as far as music, dance, poet, art, writing, and different programs of the arts help elevate students to different levels. So it's a program based on high expectations. We're using modern technology and things like that to teach kids how to do art, whether it's a 3D printer, whether it's Pro Tools, or whether it's like a dance program where you're watching other people dance and stuff like that. So it's a remarkable program.
No, I can imagine, because you know they're pulling prior to the COVID, they were pulling art and any of those creative activities out of the schools, you know, and so the kids were just no options there. What's the next option? We're gonna hit, you know, to the streets, getting in trouble and things like that.
Yes.
Too much time on their hands when they should be doing something more positive.
Yeah.
Right.
So the art.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Land.
Oh, so the art that you're talking about. So I create art-friendly projects. In that project, I designed that project that I did with the kids with you. I designed that for NBA Kids and New York Kids. That's a program that goes around the city, and they develop different organizations. Like they could go into a community center and they start developing, doing things to paint and put things together to make it a better place to be for kids, things like that. So I actually created that program for that purpose. And I just do a lot of art-friendly projects to get the students, the kids, to engage. And they end up realizing they have talents that they didn't know about. Yeah. And that gets them to become young artists as well.
Wow. That's amazing. Yeah, I think a lot of the kids today, you know, that they need that. Some may look at, you know, doing artwork, if it's not like graffiti or, you know, as corny, right? And not realize that, you know, there are a lot of different avenues that doing art can take you, whether it just be a graphics person or, you know, creating movies or, you know, things of that nature. So I think that's a great thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, I really, really and truly thankful that you both came on to talk with us and share with us your story, and really letting everyone know, you know, like what is really going on as far as that's concerned. Because, like I said, there's a lot of fear, apathy, a lot of, and you know, and the historical aspect. And I'm so glad you touched on that, Diane. People are worried about what happened with the Tuskegee experiment. Like, I don't want to do that because you're not going to experiment on me. But yet, we're saving lives. You're saving lives forever. You forever.
Forever.
That's good. Forever. I appreciate that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to come on and speak to you and speak to everyone out there, and just showing everybody awareness that you have to take the chance.
Yeah.
That's what life is, taking the chance. You have to take it. If you don't, what is life for?
Yeah.
So let everyone know how they can get in touch with you and where would you be, and any next events coming up that they can participate in.
Well, like I said, due to COVID, we have no idea what this next event is going to be right now. If you want to get in touch, you can find us on Instagram, Renal Kidney Life Foundation, or our website, renalkidneylifefoundation.org. And you can reach out to us through an email, and then we can respond back to everybody in a fastly manner, and then we can answer any questions anybody may have.
Yes. And Nari, any final words to our guests?
Yes. What do you want your foundation's legacy to be?
To be clear, to let definitely the Black neighborhood know, and everyone knows that when you donate, it's not scary. You're saving someone's life. You're saving that person's life and their family life, giving them a chance so they can have a chance with their family. Because if you don't, they don't have a life. They just stuck on this machine every other day, literally every other day. And I have seen him. Like I said, I've seen him on the good days and the bad days. So you want to take that chance.
Yeah.
Please donate. Please make sure your health is in order. Go to the doctor. Ask questions. Speak up. And that's the most important thing. Speak up and ask.
Yeah, listen to your body.
What is your final words for young people, especially since you're working with them so closely and you see them in their youth, and like what you've experienced, what happened to you was during your prime years? What do you say to them?
Well, what I'll say to them is,
when
you're not
they put that Snickers in their mouth. They go, you know, get you some kale. No, I'm sorry.
Exactly. The things that taste the best are not the greatest things for you. The things that taste the worst could be the best thing for you.
There you go.
That's what it is. So you know, take time out. Yeah, take time out and stop eating fast food. Go home, sit with your mother, cook a meal, learn how to cook.
Yes.
You know, the best food you could eat is prepared with your own hands.
And my mother would say, picked out of your own garden too.
There you go.
Right. Absolutely. Because that's something we're gonna do in the future.
Yes.
We're gonna start a honey farm with bees, and we're gonna start a mushroom farm.
Yes, we love mushrooms.
Yeah.
I eat mushrooms every day. Mushrooms, steamed mushrooms, Lance makes that every day. Every time, wherever we eat, we have to have fresh mushrooms. Fresh lemons on it, onions and tomatoes. That's what we eat early in the morning.
Bell peppers.
Bell peppers early in the morning.
You know, you have to act